A year ago, a little over a year ago, when I entered this race, I predicted that President Biden suffered from a degenerative condition that was not going to improve and that it would make it impossible for him to govern effectively.
That was independent presidential candidate Robert F. Kennedy Jr. in an interview with Fox News on Sunday after word came out that President Biden was withdrawing from the presidential campaign and throwing his support to his vice president, Kamala Harris.
The reaction of the DNC to that obvious condition was to hide it from the American public and to use their power over the Democratic Party nomination process to make sure that nobody could compete with President Biden in a way that would expose his deficiencies. And as a result, we are where we are today, which is in a period of crisis.
For more on that, we go to Philadelphia to speak with Professor Tony Monteiro of the Saturday Free School. Well?
You know something, Don? We were just talking about the speculation that this was a coup d'etat. If it were a coup d'etat, it was a coup d'etat engineered by the donor class / the ruling class. If the money could keep coming, Biden would still be running. It's that the money began to dry up and the whole Democratic Party, the elected officials, the leaders, the Obamas, the Clintons, the Pelosi's, and on and up, they reacted to the fact that the donors were holding back on giving money to the Biden campaign. That is what forced him out in the end of the day. But so he literally endorses or anoints Kamala Harris. And the pundits and politicians and, as they call them, the chattering class, on MSNBC, on CNN, in the New York Times, Washington Post, and other places, have immediately rallied around Kamala Harris. But if it was a matter of the money class forcing him out, she then is supposed to assure them that they can now release the money that they were holding because she represents stability. She does not represent a winning candidate. She cannot win. She will do worse than Biden, frankly. Some people suggest that most politicians with any ambition of being president going forward, especially 2028, didn't want to have anything to do with this clown show, this farce. But she's dumb enough to put herself in front of this train wreck that's about to happen. And frankly, that's the way I see it. She has no national reputation of having achieved anything. The two most important issues to voters, according to polls, are inflation and the border. She was supposed to handle the border. She did nothing. In fact, she resisted it, never went to the border. And of course, inflation is at the doorsteps of the Biden administration. And let us not forget that she was an apologist for Biden as he deteriorated. So she won't win. The debacle will continue. By the time they get to the convention, there will be defections from her, and there might be a fight on the floor, which would, I think, take the form of parliamentary motions and challenges back and forth. But the Democratic Party is a disunited party. It looks more like a circular firing squad than anything else. And so we're looking at what we were looking at before Sunday and Biden's withdrawal. We're looking at a Donald Trump landslide, both in the Electoral College and a popular vote majority, a consensus that no Democrat has had since, no Republican has had since 2004.
There's the call from Mike Johnson, the Speaker of the House, Republican, for Biden to resign immediately. Again, the logic being, if you're not fit to campaign, you're sure as hell not fit to be president, particularly at war. And Harris is really the only one that can convene that little cabinet meeting that could force the issue with the president. Right. He said he's not going to step down. In fact, he's resigning from the campaign in order to focus more on being president, God help us. And so you've got that call. Harris is in the unique position of, if she is appointed president or becomes president by Biden stepping down, she owns the administration, warts and all. In other words, she's running as an incumbent at that point, which is an advantage, except that based on the record and the popularity of she and Biden, maybe it's not an advantage. And of course, it's a self-serving move no matter what, and it'll be seen that way by some. Biden can't hand his delegates over to anyone. Those that are pledged to Biden are that they're supposed to vote for him on the first ballot, and then they can do what they want if there's no nominee. If they go in and just under the necessary number votes for Biden, knowing he's not running, they're basically tossing it, into a brokered convention where now everybody, is doing all the horse trading or whatever, and they come out with a nominee. Who else besides Harris could come out of that process? And then, Harris was added to the ticket basically for demographics in the same way that they look for, okay, well, we've got a northerner, let's have a southerner for vice presidential candidate. She was a black woman to offset Biden, who's horrible on so many levels. And suddenly, if she gets dissed, she doesn't have a natural constituency because she hasn't held public office. She hasn't really done anything that would earn her, a constituency of her own. And so if they diss her, don't they risk, insulting this? They're basically insulting the same demographics that they were trying to pull in with their candidacy 4 years ago.
Well, there's no question about it. She brings nothing to the table in terms of constituencies. She is not well known, or for that matter, well liked by black folk, especially the black working class and the black poor. They will say, we don't know her. She's been there for 3.5 years. What has she done for us? She's not even introduced herself to us. So there's no enthusiasm there. The Democratic Party has already lost the vast majority of the working class. In other words, in terms of the working class, it's 60-40, 60% going for the Republicans. Oh, by the way, it's hard to call this party under Trump the Republican Party. It is more the Trump Party. This is a different animal, a different phenomenon. But nonetheless, you can see that Harris brings nothing to the table, making it possible to divide this constituency that Trump has. And these poll numbers, although polls don't tell ultimate political outcomes, they are a snapshot of the moment. When polls show Virginia, New Jersey, New Hampshire, Nevada, among other states that were considered blue, as now in play, and the enthusiasm that brings to the election, that, for example, Sherrod Brown the Democratic senator from Ohio came out early, one of the earliest senators to call for Biden to step down. Well, Sherrod Brown is something like Joe Manchin, the former senator from West Virginia. You are a Democratic senator running in a state that leans red or to the Republicans. You have a difficult row to hoe, and you might not make it. So we're looking at a new political reality. The Democrats have no answer to it. In fact, Don, I felt that Biden would be forced out by June because the poll numbers after his State of the Union address did not improve. I felt that would be enough for the, quote, party elders or the elites or the people that run the Democratic Party, including some donors, to request or demand that he come out. But then you had the debate at the end of June. There was a fight back. Then you had the assassination attempt. All of this played to the favor of Trump. The other thing that you cannot underestimate is Trump's pick for VP, where, in fact, and this might become clearer as we go forward, choosing Vance, J.D. Vance, was a stab in the back to the neocon, neoliberal, globalist wing, war consensus wing of the Republican Party. Yep. The Lindsey Grahams, the Marco Rubios, and on were profoundly dissed at that point, suggesting that in war and peace policy, there will be a pullback. Trump already said, I won't go to war to save Taiwan. They're a rich nation. He's already said, even before I'm inaugurated, I will negotiate with Putin to bring peace in the Ukraine. This is huge. And then when you look at the economic policy, which I would say is a reindustrialization policy that Vance and his advisors are putting forward, including what can only be called a state capitalist, working class from the bottom up set of policies. Will they work? That is when the real struggle will start.
It'd be interesting to see, especially if he's able to reach some sort of rapprochement with Xi Jinping and with Russia, with Putin and whoever else is there, because there's been sort of experimentation with these mixed models in other parts of the world with relatively successful outcomes too. So, Professor Monteiro, thank you so much for your time as always, and we'll speak with you again next week.
Okay, Don, such a pleasure.
For KPFK, I'm Don DeBar.